When we think about communication, the first thing that comes to our mind might be phones or emails, the modern day technology. But if we try to look more closely around us, we can notice that each object, from a chair to simple paper, has its own history, providing us with certain kinds of information, and we can consider it as a type of communication. Certainly, this is different from how we usually think about communication. To understand this better, I want to show you two examples. So let's first look at Van Gogh's painting. Very nice. This painting has a clear message that the artist tried to communicate in his work, like his feelings or emotion or some kind of love life. But if we look at these logos that we normally see every day, they have a clear message, but it's hard for us to see them as an object of communication. What I want to say is that communication could be easily understood, but sometimes we have to think about it more deeply to understand the message behind it and what it's trying to say. Up until now, there has been many researches done into studying what has been left from ancient times to gain an inside look and understanding of how humans lived. One of the most important ways to obtain specific information about past times is the remains of ancient buildings, and this is known as the history of architecture. In the history of architecture, we study the changes in architecture of different countries and eras, when every civilization and later nation tried to show their identity and distinctive character by using a unique style. In my opinion, architecture can communicate and tell us some kind of information. If we study any building, we can learn about the condition of the country it was built in and what happened in this era. Like Beaux-art in Damascus is one of the examples where we can learn about the Roman Empire. We have the largest theater ever constructed in the Roman world, and it was the regional capital for 20,000 inhabitants. And this theater can tell us about the condition of Roman Empire when it was built. So we understood from this theater a lot about Roman Empire. Maybe it cannot tell us, but communicate. So from the structure of this theater, we understood that Roman Empire had good economic conditions. They were wealthy compared to other nations. They were also able to attend entertainment, and to build such kind of theater at that time indicated their cultural development. Something interesting about it is that it showed how they had advanced equipment that enabled them to step away from hills and start to build in the middle of the land. Another example which might be familiar to some is the ancient city of Babylon. Its walls are covered with great sprays to create drawings of lions. These drawings and statues show the religious belief. And we also understood from this city that the people who lived there and constructed it, they were wealthy. Something that was interesting for me to learn about it, that it was a deserted land, but at the same time, people thought it had one of the most amazing gardens. So what's left from water pumping system and sports network indicates their advanced level in physical studies. So we understood that they were able to create many different ways to transfer water to the middle of the land. They showed that humans could have control over water like 2,600 years ago, when water was a key component for advancing technology. I want to ask you, don't you think that two examples of Beaux-art Theater and Babylon City are examples of communication? Just by discussing them in a very general way, we understood many things about their economic, culture, social development, physical studies, and religious belief. This is all some kind of information that the architecture carries, like a message. To test your knowledge, I want to show you this picture. Can you guess which country it is?
Europe. England, UK.
Yeah, this is true. This is UK. But if you look at this picture, can you guess?
Japan.
This is Japan. You are very clever people. This kind of this style can tell us about the condition of the country, so we can easily guess them because of their unique style. Now I want to take different architectural styles and tell you what they show us about their period of time. Throughout history, there was many different architectural styles that each country followed. Like Romanesque architecture, it is known mostly in the Middle Ages, and it could be seen right across Europe. And it showed how Europe was considered a culture and trading center. While other one is Beaux-art architecture, it is mainly seen in France, and it has some characteristics from Italian style. And it's known by its massive decorative features. So from this architecture style, we understood that France was influenced a little by Italian lifestyle. Now, the most widespread architectural style nowadays is Modernist architecture, and it's known by its lack of orientation and emphasis placed on geometric forms. And from this building, we cannot actually gain a specific message because it may depend on the architect himself or what kind of a message he wants to implement in his work. Now, like to refresh your memory, I think you remember that we took these two examples of a bit old architectural styles, but they were a little easy to guess. Now I want to show you some modern architectural styles that you have to think a little more about. Can you guess which country it is?
Singapore.
Yes. What about this one?
Hong Kong. Dubai.
This is France. So I think some of you started to realize, or maybe you did not notice at all because you're busy playing with your phone, that all the architectures are easy to get, but the modern ones are hard to distinguish. Why do you think so? In my opinion, modernist style is a little hard to understand the message behind it, because maybe it doesn't have that much of a clear message. It's not that much of a unique style. Why do you think? There has been many reasons why each country could not keep one style in their community. Like migration, later the ideology of imperialism, the development of mind and technology played its role. This all transported different architectural styles that each country had, that now only we have is a mixture style, a very mixed style, which is not very unique. Nowadays, everything is different. Any new idea that comes is spreading very fast that we are not able to distinguish where it came from. The characteristic style of each nation and city has disappeared and been replaced by a mixed style. So, one example is Old Tbilisi. Its architecture is totally different from the modern buildings that surround us. We are able to understand more from Old Tbilisi than the modern architecture. This leads us to the question which I would like to leave you to wonder. In the future, after 50 years, will we be able to distinguish between the different architectural styles of each country, or will we have one universal architectural style? Thank you for listening.